But we begin today's show with the N68, and emergency services were once again called to the scene of a road traffic collision on the N68 at Darragh last Sunday afternoon. A stretch road that local residents and public representatives have repeatedly highlighted as a safety concern. While no serious injuries were reported, the latest incident has renewed calls for action, including a reduction in the speed limit and other safety measures. Joining me to discuss the issue are the Quilty Fianna Fáil Councillor Michael Shannon and Dermot Custy, the owner of the Darragh-based Custy Construction Limited, who's been campaigning for improvements through the Darragh Road Safety Community Group. And you're both very welcome to the show. Michael, another collision occurring at Darragh on the N68, a location repeatedly highlighted as a safety concern. What was your reaction when you heard about Sunday's incident?
Very disappointed, but not surprised. It's just the volume of traffic that's on the road, and the busy summer season has, I suppose, it's on its way. We were into the month of June, so you have a lot of busy traffic going back to Kilkee and back to the west. And it's just very disappointed that the TAI and Minister Sean Kenny hasn't actually acknowledged the notice of motion that we sent up as councillors. We had a joint notice of motion on the May 11th council meeting. We instructed the Minister for Transport to reduce the speed limit at Darragh and on the N68 from 100 kilometres to 60 for public safety because of there's so many accidents there, and we just don't want another tragedy in that particular location. It has been highlighted to the TAI and to the Minister. We had since last autumn we had 8 meetings, and in fairness to the Darragh Safety Group, Action Group, they met the Minister earlier this year and highlighted the serious defects that's on the N68 at Darragh and the location. And he requested from Clare County Council a safety plan for that immediate area to be drawn up and sent to him. So that's already done since February this year. And we as councillors took, I suppose, the 5 West Clare councillors, we took action into our own hands in May, and we sent a motion a unanimous motion that the speed be immediately reduced from 100 to 60 kilometres an hour.
Okay, but that hasn't happened yet. And just to bring you in, Dermot. I mean, Michael said earlier on he was very disappointed, but not surprised, which I'd imagine is an apt way to sum up the sentiments of many living in the area anytime they hear of incidents on the N68.
Yeah, look at sure. Unfortunately, there was another accident there on Sunday, and it's happening too often now. Like every couple of weeks, there's something. So luckily, no one was badly injured or hurt. But what's it going to take? Is someone have to be killed here again to have some action? We've been meeting now as a committee, and it's fair to say Mairead Collins has a lot more work done than anyone. But there was a meeting up in Leinster House with Sean Kenny, and I don't know. I think we're getting nowhere, not with the TIA anyway.
And can I ask, when meeting with Minister Kenny, presumably if he wasn't overly aware of the various incidents on the N68, he would have been briefed beforehand. Did he seem to be cognizant of the situation on the N68, or were you opening his eyes to what's been going on there?
I know, they all seem to know what the serious concern that is around that area, but because there's so many accidents there now. But it's just I don't know, it seems to take so long to get anything done, especially with TIA. I think it's time to demand our councillors and our Oireachtas members to maybe rezone Darragh as a residential area, and then put pressure on the council to do some traffic calming measures. I think that's the only option we have, because it's a very dangerous stretch of road. There is, as Michael said there's a lot of traffic, especially this time of the year. There's a lot going in and out of the businesses that are there, and it's just it's a very dangerous area. There's too many accidents.
Yeah, Michael, what do you make of that? I mean, you, as you say, you were calling for the speed limit to be reduced to 60 kilometres per hour, but do you feel that measure alone would reduce the number of collisions or incidents on the road, or would it be about enforcement, that it's more than just putting a road sign with a lower speed limit, or maybe traffic calming measures, as Dermot highlighted, a mixture of all of that?
No, it's going to be a combination of all those factors that will reduce and make it safer in that immediate area. My up-to-date details yesterday evening is that 6 kilometres of the N68 going to be resurfaced, including the immediate area in Darragh over the next 2 to 3 weeks on the N68. And what we're looking for, what I'm pushing for now from the Department of Transport, is that a new road layout lining outside of Darragh to improve the safety there after resurfacing. That's the part of the, I suppose, part of the safety plan that the council sent up to the TAI could be rolled out after resurfacing, because what's there is going to be all resurfaced in front of it. Now, in saying that, it is only literally 6 weeks since the motion was sent up to the Minister. It takes a little while before a decision will be made, but I'd still be hopeful that a decision will be made to reduce the speed in Darragh.
Yeah, it may take a while before decisions are made, but given the number of incidents there have been on this road, time really is of the essence, is it not? Time is the essence, absolutely. And it's just like the local residents of Darragh are entitled to be safe entering and exiting their local shop and their junctions in Lismore, Breda and Darragh North junctions. It has to be safe for the local residents, and at the moment it is just not safe for the local residents to go about their daily active life and go and come from work. And the Department of Transport, their priority is, and it has to be, is road safety at all times. And the Department of Transport have responsibility for the N68, and it's high time that this, like all these issues over a long number of years at this particular location have been highlighted, and they have a responsibility for this road and to ensure that people transverse safe in it. And at the moment, and particularly in Darragh, the N68 is just not safe. Okay. It's below the guidelines that they are responsible to uphold. Dermot, we're getting in a number of texts on this. Clearly, it's an issue that has exercised quite a number of listeners. Michael mentioned resurfacing a stretch of the road. I'm sure that will help. To what extent, only time will tell. Michael also mentioning, asking for the speed limit to be reduced to 60 kilometres per hour. I'm wondering, is speed the primary issue here, or are other factors involved? Joe has texted in saying speeding is the problem. I see it every day. Nothing wrong with the road, he says. However, Seamus in Ennis has texted 086 1800 964, and he's a very different view to Joe. He says, "Hi Alan, regarding the N68, it's in poor condition, i.e. uneven road surface and potholes. It's a disgrace." So who's more accurate in this regard, Seamus or Joe, in terms of the condition of the road, and is it just speeding or condition of the road combined?
Well, look, at the condition of the road is poor as well. If you're coming from Liscasey side, it does kind of fall to the left. It kind of brings you into the shop area. If you're travelling speed there, it does fall down a bit to the left. But the speed is a factor. Obviously, it's a huge factor. Like the last two accidents, if you look back at the CCTV there, I've seen it, and someone just pulled across. They obviously thought they had time, and the two accidents were very similar. Someone pulled across, entering into the petrol station, and they were hit. So the car was coming at speed, obviously. So what's happening now is, and I know from talking to people locally, they're actually avoiding going into the petrol station or the shop, which is no good for business in the area anyway.
Yeah, how are the owners of the petrol station shop feeling? That sounds like that's quite a common enough view.
Yeah, it's very unfair, and Kevin McNamee and anyone else that has a business there. There's a few businesses there. There's hair salon, there's car sales, and so on. But something has to be done because, it's every 2 weeks or 3 weeks there's an accident, and what's it going to take for someone to stand up and do something? I think we're getting nowhere with TI, as I said, and Michael and Timmy Dooley and Carl Crowe and Joe Cooney, they're all doing their best, but they are working with us every time we talk to them, and they're doing their best, but we're still getting nowhere.
Yeah, Michael, Dermot's frustration is clear, and I'm sure is typical of people in the area. And as you said, Minister Canny aware of this now, but as you've mentioned earlier on, it takes time for decisions to be made. But if motions from the council aren't exactly expediting the issue, what is it going to take before something happens and happens soon?
As West Clare councillors, we're more than frustrated with the slow progress, from the TI on this issue. We're going to keep trying and keep. I would still be hopeful, that it could take another short while before we get a decision. We have no decision received from Minister Kenny since we sent up the motion. So, and look at, just while we're on, I just want to thank the emergency responders that come out, and into these scenes on the roads, and it's just the work they do, and we just feel that this particular area and on the N68, there is a lack of investment over a long number of years on the N68, but this particular black spot on the N68 needs to be addressed urgently, and I call on the Minister today or before the week is out to make a decision and to implement a 60-kilometre zone, and also to erect, for the TI to give permission for Clare County Council to erect safety awareness signs of junctions ahead and busy shop ahead to reduce speed at both ends. I think that should be done as an interim measure, especially when we're on this busy holiday season, and West Clare between golf and beaches and Kilkee and Dunbig and every place in West Clare, it's a continuous line of traffic in both directions on the N68. Every weekend and every day from now until the end of September. So, the N68 and the N67, all the national roads are going to be very, very busy, high volume of traffic, and, they're going through lots of villages like Casey and back along, and, car drivers get frustrated at times with different things and trucks on the road. So there's lots of, the trucks on the road and trucks parking, and, there's lots of factors around that particular area in Darragh on the N68, that's making it unsafe. And it's a combination of factors that will make it safer, and reducing the speed. I go in and out of the shop there a bit as well, and the traffic coming from the western side, from the Kilrush side, they're doing 100 kilometres an hour. That's the speed limit. They're obeying the speed limit. It's extremely fast, and you have to be really fast in order to get out onto the road and get out onto the other side, to judge the traffic. And I think it's people's judgment and unaware of how dangerous it is. There's a lot of combination of issues there that need to be simplified and made safer. For the general public.
That is for sure. And final word to you on this, Dermot. I mean, it's hugely understandable why you and others in the Darragh Road Safety Community Group are campaigning on this issue, given the gravity of it. And as you say, it feels like it's every couple of weeks that there's an incident of some shape or form. But how difficult is it to keep raising your head above the parapet and raising the same concerns after each incident when it feels as if you're getting nowhere, banging your head against a wall?
Yeah, it is getting frustrating because there's a lot of WhatsApps, a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls, and a lot of meetings, and nothing seems to be done. Definitely reducing the speed limits dramatically would be a great help to start. Anyway, it'd be a good start, and then probably introduce traffic calming measures. But the trucks and vans parking in front of the old shop there, while there's people trying to get in and out of McNamee's, is definitely it's a blind spot then when you're pulling out and you're exiting onto the road, and you're sticking out a bit next thing in front of your car is swept. Like, that's it. People are coming too fast. So if it does reduce to 60, as Michael said, I don't know will they reduce it to 60. They're talking about reducing it to 80, but if they reduce it to 60, it'd be better getting hit at 60 than getting hit at 100 anyway. It wouldn't do as much damage, but I don't even think that'll do. Long term, there'll have to be introduced traffic calming measures to make it work. You're entering a busy area and people have to really slow down to get through it.
Yeah, I really do hope the next time we're discussing the N68 that there has been some sort of progress, because we talked about it, incidents on the road far too many times on Morning Focus over the years without significant progress being made to reduce these number of incidents. Jens, thanks so much for your time in this really important issue this morning. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Michael. And Dermot Custy, the owner of the Darragh-based Custy Construction Limited and member of the Darragh Road Safety Community Group, and the Quilty Fianna Fáil Councillor Michael Shannon.